Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. My name is Paul Wall. I'm a recently qualified health and safety inspector. A specialization in food safety and food hygiene. Currently, final exam completed with Chartered Institute for Environmental Health, United Kingdom, level 3. As it is, there is no level 4 because of the new syllabus. This is a summary audio book based on the standards as outlined by Food Standard Agency and by Chartered Institute for Environmental Health, Level 2, Food Safety and Food Hygiene in Catering, and also Foundation Certificate and Level 3. Apparently, there are certain categories, which are mainly 5 categories, as a summary of both Foundation Certificate of Health and Safety or Food Safety and Food Hygiene, and also Level 2 and Level 3, both either by Health and Safety Executive UK, mainland, or by Chartered Institute for Environmental Health. The main 5 categories which must be adhered to are known as the 5 C's. The 5 C's stand for cross-contamination, cleaning or cleanliness and personal hygiene, chilling, that is cooling the food down and keeping it within a range of temperature which is known as outside the danger zone, which is between 5 degrees and basically 37-38 degrees. This temperature between 5 and 38 degrees, food must not be kept or served. If food is served cold, it must be below 5 degrees, ideally 6, 7 or even 9 better, depending on temperature as well. If it's to be served hot, ideally between 6 to 3 upon arrival on the table, that is. And obviously the other C is cooking, the temperature of which food must be cooked, and obviously management, which is maintaining the standard of the administration system which you may have in your business, that is. This cover both Foundation Certificate summary of Food Standard Agency, awarded food rating, and also health and safety and food hygiene by Environmental Health and Chartered Institute for Environmental Health. Mainly, we're just moving on now to the section 1, which is cross-contamination. As I was just saying, that there are mainly 5 sections. Cross-contamination, which is mainly dealing between meat products, poultry, and chickens and fish, that they must be kept in a separate compartment, ideally, depending also on the resources which you may have, but it's a legal requirement by law anyway, so that under Health and Safety Act you have to comply with these rule of separation of meats, chickens, and fish. Also, vegetables must have a different separate compartment, and a cleaning standard must be of 99.9%, which is they just leave out 0.01%, that is antibacteria. Also, you might have to look up things like scales, among other things. Right, so we're moving on to the first section now, which is cross-contamination. The main section is color-coded as well, because there is the cross-contamination is color red. The cleaning is more of color purple. The chilling is blue, because it's, the cooking is obviously orange, and management is again a dark blue. Kind of the chilling is actually aqua blue, and the management is a dark blue color coded. Yeah, so we are on section 1, which is cross contamination basically. Again, it says personal hygiene is vital for all staff, and for also good standard of food safety. Personal hygiene is very important. Your hair must be covered. Your nail must be kept short. You must not be wearing any jewelry, especially those which can actually be hazardous to yourself, or may end up in food as a foreign object. So please take all this information as a mandatory information. They must be done. They are mandatory by law, that you must come in, your employer, or if you are the employer, you must supply a changing room, or at least a place to change, a cabinet where the staff can store their things, and a standard uniform which must include a highly protective footwear, also highly quality material utensil also, and equipments, which are very important. So again, main safety point, it says staff should always wash their hands before preparing foods or wear gloves. That is the most important section of the food safety. Personal hygiene, you must wash your hand, you must wear clean clothes, ideally white. You must cover your hair. Furthermore, you ideally it should be you should be wearing ideally short sleeve instead of long sleeve. Short sleeve is better. Basically, furthermore, staff are required to practice all the safety features that they may have. In fact, it is a requirement also that most staff who are serving food must have at least have a foundation certificate in food hygiene to be allowed to actually handle food. That is, they must have passed both the working relation and a team work, and the importance of a teamwork, and also basics, health and safety and food hygiene. So basically, on the management of things is that the staff should staff should be trained to wash their hands before preparing food, should be trained to wear good clothes, or at least should require a uniform, clean clothes, that is of a high standard, before starting work. You must also write down these by law, aprons, also tasks must be done according to the chartered of both Chartered Institute of Environmental Health or Chartered Institute for Environmental Health, and according to the Food Standard Agency. So the book which we are just reading here is actually the food safety and food hygiene, safer food for business by Food Standard Agency, which we were just in a cross. We are actually just in a cross contamination. Going to page 2 again. Safety point is why staff should be able to do what I will just express, and what to do if things go wrong. Basically, if your staff are not fit for work, if they are ill, please ask them to go home, because some even though it's just a precautionary measures, but because they may be underperforming, and they may not also be thinking straight, even if it's just a headache or dizziness or thing that may not be as you think, may not be important, but for health and safety reason, it's just best, instead of having to contaminate both your food and also your staff may be underperforming when they are actually under stress, or when they are not well. So it is a must that if your staff are not feeling well, or they've reported ill, and within 1 hour of monitoring there hasn't been a change, or even the situation may have been getting worse, perhaps you must be thinking of sending them home. Again, safety methods or safe method is that to prevent cross contamination, basically things like towels, a hand towel which may spread bacteria, are not allowed. You need to use a disposable towel, which is more better to prevent cross contamination. Gloves must be worn, eye goggles in some cases, mainly those are the main feature. Gloves. Vegetables must be washed, must be kept away from vegetables and fruits, from raw material, as in raw meat, poultry, eggs, raw vegetables. Surfaces must be clean and sanitized and hygienically. Even if it's possible, utensil must also be sterilized. That is, all these are main features of preventing cross contamination. Hot item must be handled with
fruits and not
hot towel, certified napkins, wiping surfaces, mop for spilling. Please make sure that spillages mop up immediately, because there is currently a high accident rate upon slipping and on spillages in the kitchen. And engineering and those in the hospitality, meaning food industry, are the highest in the death rate. That is, those in engineers and food hospitality, that is, in the kitchen, that is, they are both classified as a high rating of death and accident prone to due to the tools and the hazardous and the nature or the the profession may have and has been known to have a high degree of harmfulness and danger also to life. That is, so please, working in the kitchen is a serious business, or being an engineer and working in a construction, or so again, handling tools such as knife again are very important, to handle them with care, and also not to play in the kitchen. Defrosting food must never be defrosted under hot water. Storage must be clean. It must be according to the manufacturer's food safety labeling: dry, clean place, free from pests, no dropping, no pets allowed in the food areas, no flies, no cockroaches, no ants, no mice, and so on. The health and safety standard clearly state that the food area must be kept free and free from all germs, free from all bacteria, and also free from all foreign object. Any food which you present to your customers must be, even from the beginning, must be inviting in terms of aromatic, as in before it actually arrived, it must be aromatically delicious, and can't wait to actually have a look at it. And when it also comes, it must be also well presented, and also when is as it is also stated that the proof is in the eating, it must also taste good, and also free from bacteria and free from germs and foreign objects, and also healthy to eat, and green, rich in vegetables, rich in vitamins, rich in minerals, and obviously low carb, that is carbohydrate, that is high in fiber, low in carbohydrates. Again, the cockroaches, pigeons, again, you need good temperature gauge for both monitoring and management purposes, and also for food on the table temperature, food as cooked to a temperature, and food served or must be served at certain temperature. And also a reminder of staying away or keeping the food away from hazardous zone, that is the unhealthy zone of between 5 degrees and 38 degrees, which is known as a hazardous zone. Now, the other part of it is also within the same is food allergies. Food can also be cross-contaminated by objects that people are allergic to, and can cause anaphylactic shock, or even worse, death. So please ask your customers whether they have any allergies which are known, and make sure please that you have capability, that is also under health and safety rule and requirement, that one must have and be capable of. Ideally, if it's a restaurant, when one is expecting at least 10 people, one must have 10 people certified health and safety first aid kits or above, that is, if you're expecting more than 10 people and qualify. Wherever there is 10 people, there must be at least one qualified first aider with fully equipped resources to enable emergency mitigation and handling and saving lives, as it is stated through the first aid. Anaphylactic shock, serious business. Peanuts dangerous, nuts dangerous, milk dangerous, eggs and certain fish. Some type of fish, especially anchovies, use salad dressing. Basically, it's used in salad dressing. These also used also in certain pizza sauces and commonly in Thai dishes. Some people are allergic to, and soy sauces. Eggs, including used in cakes, mousse, sauces, pastas, dishes, quench, some eggs, meats, such as burgers, dressing, contaminated mayonnaise, also, or mayonnaise may contain eggs, or may have been contaminated with eggs because it is actually made of eggs. Again, safety points are mainly as if the dish contain certain food, check ingredient contain, and how the dish is cooked and the type of sauces, and never guess, because this is a life saving advice and a mandatory advice, that is. Again, moving on, physical contamination also is very important. There's also gluten food. I mentioned soy sauce, simsim seed. Physical contaminations is very important to also cover food using killing film, prevent chemical entering food or food chain or in food areas, and use very certified and branded, and when I say branded, I mean either certified by World Health Organization or by third parties of each state, or a government department such as health and safety expert or Department of Health or World Health Organization, as I was saying, or Chartered Institute for Environmental Health. And also remember the labeling, the hazardous labels. Again, make sure the food is covered all the time, the temperature is kept, the place is kept clean, all the food surfaces are kept clean, and food is served in a clean place, free from chemical, bacteria, and foreign object. Review your health and safety protocols on this section, which is cross contamination. We are now coming to a section 2, which is cleaning. Purple coded color. Excuse me. Effective cleaning is essential to get rid of harmful bacteria and stop them from spreading. Safety point is refer all your cleaning material and stuff through a thorough check and through a quality check point to make sure they meet all the requirements, and ideally the 99.9% bacteria and germs eradication, that is leaving 0.01, that is 0.01, that is out of 100%. Highly prioritize areas to clean. Basically utensil must also be, and dishes must be sterilized, ideally washed with antibacterial soap, hygienic soap as well, and food must be covered. Again, killing film. Again, moving on, equipment must be clean and also ideally of a good standard. Keeping the kitchen clean and also clear of hazardous spillages, and also making sure you use the right material, not just the kitchen but also in your main surface areas, and also the other supporting regions also, if you are responsible. And I'm sure there is a legal requirement that is that the people who are handling food due to prevention mitigation, that is those who are responsible for cleaning should be doing cleaning at a separate time from those who are actually serving or producing food or handling food, that is, unless if it is in that case where at the same time you must be cleaning as you go along, that is you must have a team, cleaning team, a service team, a food handling team, and obviously there are other teams also which you might also need, including, as I was saying earlier, a fire and a first aid officer, or somebody to deal with first aid. Also, you might need hand dryers as well as part. Again, we have now come to a code blue, that is sky blue chilling, basically, which is a temperature chill storage and displayed food must be kept at certain temperature, which is minus 19 or ideally 18, better 18 actually, between 18 and 19 minus, that is frozen 5 degrees, or not sorry, minus 5, that is between minus 5 and plus, sorry, I made a mistake earlier, so I got to clear that. Between a minus 5 and a positive 38 degrees is a danger zone, that is minus 5 and 38 degrees is danger zone. Minus 5 to minus 19 is a safer zone. Plus 38 to plus 65 upon cooking, 65 serving upon table, 63 degrees, that is. So again, chilling, as I was saying, minus 5 degrees, ideally between minus 5 and even from 5 degrees to minus 5 is okay. Minus 9 is even better, depending also on the temperature, that is of the storage area where the food, or at a time of serving, and also preference of our customers. But the legal requirement, that is, the legal requirement is stated that it must be a 5 degrees chill for vegetables, between 5 and 8 degrees vegetables and fruits, and obviously other food may require going below 5 degrees, that is to minus 5, minus 8, minus 10, and below all the way to minus 18, that is. Again, that is the chilling part of it. Excuse me. Again, areas must be kept clean. Again, food must be kept in small portion so that they can easily be chilled quickly. Excuse me, it's just an allergic reaction in April, sorry. Again, please make sure you check your temperature, that is actually
below 8 and not below 8, I mean above 8 degrees, that is, or between 8 and 5 degrees, or minus 8, that is, between plus 8 degrees and minus 8, that is but the legal requirement is actually between 8 and 5 degrees. That is where food, or at least a normal fridge, must be kept at, while a freezer must be kept at minus 18, and food must be upon arrival on a table, that is 63 degrees, and also a cooking temperature, that is also, which you must also be aware. I'm sure you would have covered it, and is there as well. Again, think twice when it comes to defrosting. Don't use hot water. Always give sufficient time, or use defrost capabilities in certain defrosting equipment, that is. Freezing and freezers must be kept at those temperatures which are required by law. Again, we are now coming to a summary of that area: frozen food and hard, icy, basically must be defrosted using a defrosting method. Basically, liquid of cold water is acceptable, but not hot water. Fully defrosted food can also be used a microwave to defrost, and other ovens, and frozen food such as ice cream must be kept at certain temperature. We are coming now to cooking safely. Food must be kept and also cooked to a certain temperature, that is. Therefore, it is appropriate to follow manufacturing and recommended safety margin must not be cut. You must adhere to them, because these are safety margin. They are there for a reason. If they say cook a chicken so that the center point of a chicken may be at certain temperature and for a certain amount of time, is for a reason, because chicken can contain certain bacteria which is live, like salmonella, I believe. Again, if they say cook fish, also when you reheating the food, a temperature must be at certain temperature. Eggs must also be cooked at certain temperature. And obviously, I'm scanning through here. When you check the food, inside of it must be piping hot, that is really hot. And ideally you should use a thermometer to check the food, that and also the eggs, timer for boiling them. Beans must be boiled at certain and must be cooked to a certain temperature, and also when reheating, otherwise you could cause a food poison, because the food is not cooked very well, or to the extent to which bacteria may have been eradicated. Again, there are certain food that must never be reheated and must be cooked and consumed immediately or within 1 hour or within certain. Please follow manufacturer's main warranty or manufacturer's recommendation. Check the temperature again. Ready to eat food must be served at certain temperature as well, and must be kept at certain temperature. Make sure when you receive food from your delivery that they are at certain temperature which are recommended by law, and they are received and stored within a required limits and within a time limit by law. And make sure that your management and obviously your records are kept according to the requirement of the law, which is outlined by the Chartered Institute for Environmental Health and also the Food Standard Agency. Thank you very much. We've just concluded this end of our introduction to making food safely, and food hygiene and food safety. And that was an introduction to safer food and a better food, and also for those who are also new to food and experimenting with food, this may also be a useful beginning. The next will be on nutrition, and will also be the second part will be on nutrition, and the third part will be on safety and health and safety, and first aid and fire safety and fire equipment. Thank you very much. Paul Wola Colwool, health and safety advisor and health and safety officer, and a supplier of surplus medical response, that is emergency medical response, first aids material and first aid kits. Thank you very much.